what? Speaking of men and women, it's time for our battle of the sexes.
It is. He said, she said. All right, speaking for the he's this week, we have the author of Marriage and How to Avoid It. Horrible title.
Guy Blues. Hi, Guy.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Hi, Guy. How are you?
Speaking for the ladies, oh, look out, guys. International recording artist and WWE diva, Lilian García. Hi, Lilian. Good to see you.
You too.
Looking fantastic.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Thank you.
All right, this case we've been talking about for about a month now. First up, Chris Brown is facing felony charges for allegedly beating up his girlfriend, pop singer Rihanna.
Meanwhile, reality TV star Kelly Ben-Simone, who stars in this season's The Real Housewives of New York City, was only charged with a third-degree misdemeanor for allegedly assaulting her fiancé, Nick Stefanoff. So,
And he had blood on his face and a
Right.
black eye. So here's the question. Are the charges against Chris Brown more severe because he is a man? Guy, you take it first.
Absolutely, and I think it's a three-point thing for both of them. One, Chris Brown's a man. Two, he's a major celebrity. And three, look who he beat up, Rihanna, the queen of pop. The Kelly Ben-Simone, she's a woman. She's not really that big of a celebrity, and she beat up a Nancy boy, so he deserved it.
A Nancy boy?
Right, he deserved it. I mean, he's just...
Lilian?
No, you know what? I mean, I see your point about him being, you know, the man and versus the female, whatever. But I don't think that he got the felony charges just because he's a star. I think that he got the felony charges because of what he did, and also the severity. The severity of what he did as opposed to what she did. I'm not saying that she was right. I don't think hitting in any case is right. But what he did, the way that Rihanna looked, as opposed to him, is completely
Now, he had
different.
blood on his face and a
yeah,
black
but
eye.
remember, he
understand.
threatened to kill her. I mean, this is a different legal situation
Yeah.
that we're dealing with here.
Right,
There
and
were
Rihanna-
threats, and they said that, you know, it was clear that he was going to create large bodily injury.
Where it didn't
to
look
her,
like
which we
Kelly
really
was
did.
going to do too much damage to
No, right.
Nick.
And I think if we're really honest about it, you look at what Chris did. As a man, you've got to know when to stop, and you
Oh,
are
of
strong
course.
enough to hold a woman off. So if
Right.
you're really serious about it...
But you
better
know what?
stick with
I
it.
think if you're a man and a woman hits you, she's nuts, and you should just get away anyway.
Yeah.
But you can't hit her.
Yeah, but you
Right?
don't.
You
But
don't hit
this
your
guy's freaking
boyfriend.
me out because he first of all gets punched. He said it was a lucky punch, and he runs screaming to the police station. Mommy, I
think
got
you wanted more
hurt. And then he goes, I want her back.
Right.
I love her. I want her back.
But I
And
think
then
we
got
have to
beaten up
start
by
getting
her.
away from poo-pooing these guys who report it to the police. Just, what are you, a wuss? You can't take a punch from a woman?
But he even said it was a lucky
woman-
punch. It was a lucky punch, and he still loves her. If he's going to dump her, then fine, go to the
Chris
police.
and Rihanna are back together, too.
Yeah,
Okay,
there you
speaking
go.
of Rihanna, I just wanted to show you this photo that we saw this morning. I think this could have been last night or the night before. She was out on the town, so feeling a little bit better, but still has those shades on.
Yeah, no, you know, I mean, this is a serious situation. And Chris Brown, on the other hand, is still trying to rehabilitate his image. And here's what he did. I think this was a very good move on
Smart.
his part. He pulled out of the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. All right? Earlier in the week, he was lobbying for votes, but a lot of parents were very upset that children might be calling in and voting and, you know, emailing in for Chris Brown, and that he could have walked away with a big prize from that awards ceremony.
To me, I think it was kind of crazy that even Nickelodeon kept him in. Because,
Yeah.
I do, too.
You know, I mean,
we-
there is the personal life that you have to a certain extent, but when it gets to a criminal case, something like this, I think that kids should know and understand that when you do something like this, you do, you know, the consequences are there.
Okay, here's one for you. We saw this yesterday. I think it's fascinating. What did more for women's liberation, women's feminism? What did more? I mean, talking about feminism, or was it just go all the way back to the old-fashioned washing machine?
According to an article in Rome's Vatican newspaper, they say, turns out it was the washing machine. Who knew? The invention apparently gives women more free time, which, let's face it, I mean, it did.
Yeah. So now you have more time to chat and get
Yeah, that's
nasty
what they
about
said. That part
men.
was a little bit.
It was
It was like, oh, then women could chat and have coffee and read, you know, read gossip magazines.
Exactly.
And that's what caused women's liberation.
This article was written in a Vatican newspaper by a woman, by the way. What do you think?
But the whole thing kind of annoys... Washing machines annoy me right now because I think they're responsible for overpopulation because women have more time, so therefore, you know, if you had to actually wash all the clothes, you would have one kid, not three. Then there's the environmental problems you've got of all of that clean water going into the washing machine, coming out dirty and becoming toxic waste.
You're going down the drain.
Right? Then you've got all the electricity it uses. It's a total disaster. I think it's a total disaster, the washing machine, and it's allowed women to have time to torment men.
LG?
Oh, my God. No, you know what? what? First of all, the whole thing where they're talking about liberating women, I think there's a lot of things that liberated women. Voting definitely liberated women. I think that, you know, in World War II, men had to go fight, so the woman had to go and she had to have the jobs. And it came out that, guess what? The women could do the jobs the same as the men could do the jobs. So, you know, it showed a lot. Plus, I think that women started getting really smart and telling the man, you know what? You're going to do your share of the household work around here. You're going to get off your butt.
I think it was just inevitable that sooner or later society would figure out that women are smarter and stronger. So, I mean, it was inevitable. It's sort of evolutionary. It was, you know, it just, you know, it's the way it is.
But then, can I just say one thing? It is the Vatican newspaper, which doesn't have much of a women's right issue going on. They won't let women be priests, and they won't let the priests have relations with the women, so...
Have you ever tried to wash your own clothes, though? That's all I want to say.
I still wash my own clothes. There's a lot of things you have to hand wash.
I mean, yeah, hand washing. I mean, can you imagine? No, I think you have a lot fewer clothes.
Yeah, I still take my clothes down to the river and beat it on rocks. What?
It's hard.
That's what they do up in Alaska sometimes. Still the wilderness up there. Sarah Palin's daughter, you know who Sarah Palin is, of course, recently went on the record. That's that show on Fox News Channel with Greta Van Susteren. She had this to say about her relationship with the father of her baby, Levi Johnston.
How about Levi? How does he take in all this?
Well, he's a really hands-on dad. He's just in love with him as much as I am.
How often does he see his son?
He sees him every day.
What are your plans?
Eventually we'd like to get married. We're focusing though on like getting through school and just getting an education and stuff, getting a career going.
Okay, that was an old interview because now Bristol and Levi are through.
Yeah.
They've called it quits 3 months after the birth of their son named Trip. Apparently Levi's taking a trip out of town.
Yeah, according to the reports, Johnson says that the couple decided a while ago, quote, that they were going to go their separate ways. Was this just too much too soon for this young couple? I think, indeed, it was.
Well,
right?
it is a tough situation for them to be in.
It is a very tough situation. You know, I mean, 19 and 18, what do you really know at that age? And, I mean, you're just starting to get into the swing of things, and then all of a sudden you have marriage, and you have the world watching you. Are you going to make it?
Well, it seems like they were almost
Like
forced to get married because she was running for vice president.
Yes. Well,
I mean, this is why I wrote the book Marriage and How to Avoid It. You don't need to be married to be a good parent, because there's so much pressure goes into getting married that it takes away from what you're doing raising your child. And I think if they hadn't had that pressure because of the political aspect, then maybe they might have done
It sounds like he's going to be a pretty good dad, and she's going to be a good mom. There's no indication they're not going to.
You know?
Exactly.
And you know, they had a home together, and they were trying to work this out, you know, but who knows? Her parents were actually similar ages when they got married and had their first child.
Yeah, so see,
it worked out
work
for them eventually, and maybe these two, you know, down the road, a little time, a little more school,
How old were
maybe
you
they'll
when
find
you
their
had
way
your
back
first
together.
baby, your first child? We don't need to give them.
24.
24? You had a child at 24?
25.
Wow.
You really should remember.
Look at numbers on things, really, Mike. I mean,
She has
people
3
can
children.
do math, you know?
3 kids.
I do. I have 3.
Good to see you.
Awesome. That's great.
All right.
And I'm married. Sorry.
You're a cougar.
We're not sorry you're married.
Thank you.
Well, in reality, actually, I'm
He
sorry
told
you're
how
married.
to avoid marriage, you know, so I didn't listen to his advice.
Thank you both very much. By the way, Lilian will be on WrestleMania April 5th.
Yes.
April 5th. I'll watch that.
Good for you.
You're good. Next up.